Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 52 of the Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. Today's topic is it codependency or self-preservation? Chances are, if you are following this podcast at all, you're probably an empath. And all that means is you can feel in your body, or it's usually somewhere in your body, or your awareness, what other people are feeling. Now, often a common mistake is to think you know why they're feeling that or what it's related to. And that's the mind getting involved in. A lot of times it's wrong. So you really have to be careful interpreting the feeling, but you're aware of the feeling. You feel it. You know it. And we can talk about, respecting people's boundaries. If you can feel that they're angry and you point it out and they say, no, I'm not, you just need to just roll with that. That means either they don't know it, and unless you're their coach, you shouldn't be digging into it, or they don't want to talk about it. So we have to respect those things. But today I want to talk about how often when we perceive feelings, we think we have to do something about it, and we don't. And often, more often than not, it's really not our place to do something with somebody else's emotions, whether that's a person or an animal, or, if you pick up stuff from plant life, being aware of it doesn't equal taking an action on it. And where we trip up and fall into codependency patterns is when we think we have to fix it. That comes early in life, right? As do most patterns. We pick them up early in life, okay? So in human design, if you have a open emotional solar plexus and or an open, it's called different things. And you'll know it's open if you run your human design chart, which you can do at geneticmatrix.com for free. And if that center is white, all the centers have little numbers in them. Those are the gates of the I Ching hexagram, or the hexagrams, called gates in human design. So if that shape that you see is a little triangle and a bigger triangle, if it's white, it's not colored, then that means it's open. That means it's a sponge. And it is designed to sponge up energy and amplify it. Sponge it up, make it bigger. So if you're living with people who have defined centers, they're broadcasting, you're receiving, and amplifying. This makes it critically important to have a daily practice of clearing your system of everybody else's stuff, and also learning to allow those sensations of energies, emotional energies, to flow through you. To not engage and think that you have to do anything with them. Just let them flow on through. So you can imagine standing in a river and you're trying to grab the water and do something with it, which makes life hard for you and the river. Rivers are designed to flow. And we perceive and we receive and we amplify. And our learning process is to let go of the conditioning we received that said we had to fix it. Either we were told we needed to fix it, or we took that responsibility on for ourselves, and that's where that's where it leads into self-preservation. So the trick is letting that energy flow through you. And if you feel like you want to do something with it, you need to ask. Ask what the person needs. Offer a listening ear, or just be present. You don't have to say or do anything, really. If you amplify your presence and ground and center and anchor in your own heart, you're really there for someone. And if they need something, if they're grown up, they can ask you for help. So we do that we learn to do that as a self-preservation thing as a kiddo, because we don't have the capacity to process all the feels that we feel around us when we have those open centers, when we're designed to receive and amplify. It's a gift and a curse, right? The gift is you really can see what's going on with other people, and if you're a projector or a reflector, you really, really can see what's going on. We're designed to see the heart of the matter, so to speak. And when you're little, you don't have the techniques, you don't have the ability to process the feelings of the family or whoever's raising you. And often, if you say that there's feelings, you get told that you're not, that they're not. No, everything's fine. The worst thing you can do as an adult is have a child say something about you being upset and you say everything is fine and know that you're not feeling that way. It's okay to say, yeah, mommy's sad right now. Yeah, daddy's angry right now. It's okay. Feelings are okay. But often we get told, no, everything's fine. No, you're not feeling that. No, whatever. It's so invalidating. And then it ends up making you feel insane as a little kid because you're like, I'm feeling something. And everyone's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's not fine. But as kids, we can't counter that, right? So we learn to self-preserve. We follow our self-preservation instinct because we have to. And how do we do that? By numbing or fixing, or both, or alternating. We can't tolerate those feelings, so we shut them down. Or we turn our focus outward and start monitoring the entire world and trying to take care of everything and everyone to make sure everything is fine so that we can feel fine. Because when you feel feelings that you don't have the capacity to feel, it's unbearable. You have to shut it down until you develop those skills. But what happens is, then as adults, we feel the feelings. We never develop the skills because we learn to shut it down or keep our focus outward on everybody else and everything else. And so when you make the commitment to start feeling them, you start to see how whenever you turn inward, your impulse is to turn back outward. Because when you turn inward and you start meditating or you start intermittent fasting, that's a little tidbit you don't get told. When you start intermittent fasting, all the feelings that you haven't felt will start to come up. Especially if you're intermittent fasting because you're trying to heal your relationship with food. Okay, so we focus on everyone else. We track our relationships. We become little busybodies. We're always butting in. We don't ask questions. We just jump. We're always focused outward. We resist doing a meditation practice because it means we're going to have to turn inward, where all those goddamn feelings are. I speak from experience, y'all. Okay, so I just don't like the word codependency. It's mean. It's used against people. Oh, you're just being codependent. As though you're wrong for keeping yourself alive all these years. I don't like it. It has an ick to it. So what I want to offer to us is a process of saying, hey, I preserved myself. I kept myself sane and alive. We kept ourselves here by turning our focus outward and by learning how to numb when we felt things. But now that we're all grown-ups, I'm assuming everybody's a grown-up who's listening. You might not feel like a grown-up, but I'm guessing you're over 18. So now it's our job to turn our focus inward and to recognize that we can feel all of our own feelings, and we can become very attuned to others' feelings, and that's the end of it. We don't have to do anything with it. The feelings will take care of themselves. Feelings are emotional energy that rises and falls and comes and goes and weaves through us and around us like the weather. When we can take our judgment off, I don't want to feel like this, so let me go numb, or let me stir up some drama outside of me so I can focus outside and ignore this some more. We start to really move into skill building when we see what we're doing and we decide to make some different choices. So at the end of this podcast, I always say, think less, feel more. You have to feel the feelings before you can think effectively anyway. If your feelings are in the way and you're avoiding them through numbing, oh, my washing machine is singing to us. Sorry if you can hear that catchy little melody. So if you know you're doing that and then you purposefully are trying to sit with and be present with your feelings and it's really, really hard, please just know that that's normal. Our ability to handle emotions and to be with them and to not run away with them through numbing techniques is a skill like any other skill. And in the beginning, you might only be able to sit with your feelings for a minute or two. And side note, numbing techniques can include EFT, tapping, processing, analyzing. It doesn't have to be food or, getting over involved with our relationships or worrying all the time about our children or our animals or whatever. A lot of times I've seen people go running for EFT, tap, 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 because they don't want to feel the feeling. So be careful with that. EFT is great for moving you into the feeling, but if you are really scared of it, you can subtly distance yourself from the feeling. Meditation that goes for transcendence before feeling is the same thing. You can be meditating your ass off, but if you're, judging your feelings and hovering above them, is really a subtle pushing against your feelings, pushing them down, which means they never move, they never go away. And the process, you're pushing the river, you're grabbing the water in the river. It doesn't work. And it makes us sick over time. It gives us anxiety. When we can't solve the problems, we can dive into depression or learned helplessness, or we can get stuck in the stories. Just know at some point in your life you felt something that you didn't have the capacity to feel, so you more than once, and you shut it down. That's it. That's all it is. And all it is now is, okay, what are the skills I need to feel the feelings I've been avoiding for 20, 30, 40, 50 years? There's nothing wrong with having feelings. There's nothing wrong with disappointment. There's nothing wrong with anger. There's nothing wrong with self-pity. There's nothing wrong with sadness. There's nothing wrong with happiness. Some of us do that. A lot of us do that. We can't feel too happy or we start to get nervous. That's past conditioning. Human design calls that conditioning. It's a conditioned response to behavioral patterns that we learned as kids. Oh, we were too happy and we got in trouble. We learned that if you're too happy, you get in trouble. So make sure that you're not too happy. If disappointing things happen and we were chided for that or made to feel bad that we felt disappointment, or, whatever, shamed. Lots of people get shamed for their emotions. Then we're conditioned to, oh, if I feel this thing, I'm going to get in trouble, so make sure don't feel this thing. If we had parents who were addicts or couldn't handle their own emotions and turned to us for distraction, then we learn, oh, people outside of me have feelings and it's my job to do something about it. And now I have a cat scrabbling around in a box with some paper. Oh, the background noise. My kingdom for a sound studio. My next house has to have an office in it. It has to. We've got washing machines. Now we've got a paper shredder. And of course it's Tonka, the naughtiest cat in the world. Of course it is. So let's simplify this. Codependency is a learned behavior to rescue others. Oh boy, and there's another sound. Did you hear that one? I always know when I'm trying to get a podcast done that is going to mean something to me and others. I always have like this string of interruptions. So even my own system will be like, ooh, this is a sensitive subject. Maybe we should create a bunch of distractions outside. Let me try this again. Let's bottom line it, right? We feel feelings, and we need to learn how to feel them more and feel them better. And that's it. We're trained to turn outward. We need to train ourselves to turn inward and practice feeling all the bucket of feelings that's in there. And that's it. It's that simple. The hard part is understanding that a feeling won't kill you because a feeling is just emotional energy and it feels highly unfamiliar in your system when you start to be conscious of it. It's not like the feelings aren't there. They're there. We just are choosing to be conscious of them. We're choosing to stop numbing out. We're choosing to stop sleepwalking through our lives. We're choosing to stop interfering with everyone and everybody and everything in order to distract ourselves. We're laying down our addictive tendencies and choosing to be aware of, oh my gosh, this guy. I know he's making so much noise. He's rolling all over on his back. Those of you who have cats, he's in a giant Amazon box that has that crumpled paper in it. So really, he's in kitty heaven right now. A big box with crumpled paper in it? Come on. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay, so how do you feel your feelings? You sit with them. You sit with them. You acknowledge them. You don't distract yourself from them with a lot of analysis and storytelling. An event happens that triggers an emotion. You stay with the emotion until it settles down, which it will. You don't transcend it. I once saw Pema Chodron correct Oprah, and I was like, ooh, look at Pema go. She just corrected Oprah, but Oprah didn't catch it. It just went right, and they just went on. She was saying that, Oprah was saying, oh, you be the witness of your feelings. And Pema was saying, nope, you actually go into them. Drop into them, feel them. I'm paraphrasing, of course. You be with the heat. You be with the agitation. You be with the fear that makes you want to jump up and run away. You feel the disappointment that makes you want to give up. You feel the anger that makes you want to burn everything to the ground. You feel the happiness and you feel the anxiety that comes on the heels of that because you're afraid it's going to go away. We can't hold these emotions. They're water. We can't make the bad ones stay away from us. We can't hold on to the good ones. And trying to do that can look like codependency. Trying to manage them in that way looks like anxiety. Looks like workaholism, Netflixisms, all the isms, all the all-isms, the foodism, all the things-isms, okay? So, if you've been told, well, you're codependent, maybe let's reframe that as, thank God I kept myself alive. Thank God I learned how to tamper down the sensations in my consciousness of emotions so I could get to this point in my life where I can go, okay, now I got a thing. Now let me look at this thing differently. Let me pull my attention and my power back from everything around me and everyone around me and all my relationships. And let me turn my focus inward and listen and hear what has been speaking through my body all these years. This is especially important if you've got autoimmune symptoms, or if you've got symptoms that the doctors can't identify for you. They're just weird things going on in your body and you can't figure it out. That's often these open centers. To drain your open centers or to empty them, you go outside, you meditate, you tell yourself, I'm releasing any need to manage other people's feelings. I'm going to find safety in my system and let other people have their emotions, knowing that I don't have to stop them and I don't have to do anything about it. It's multi-layered, of course. I'm not going to fix all this or cover it all in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But I wanted to bring that forward to you, to not judge that, to celebrate it. Because people who don't learn to turn down the volume or shut it out completely until they grow up go insane. Or kill themselves through addictions or through their own actions. Codependency as a self-preservation package is something to be grateful for and something to start to unwind, to set yourself free, and to set your relationships free. Tension in relationship generally is coming from control. That's a different podcast. So let me stop here. Everything's updated on the website if you want to work with me. The class that starts in January is very deep diving into human design and identifying emotions and the stories around them, center by center. It's complex, and I would encourage you to check it out if you want to do a long-term. It's a 6-month intense program. There's breaks built in, but yeah. So clarity sessions are good for hit and run coaching if you have like a stuck place and you want to just blast through it. It's not like you come to a clarity session and you fix it, but you come to a clarity session and you find out what it is, and then you'll have a plan. You'll have a plan for what to do next. Okay, think less, feel more. Do your thinking after your feeling, and things will go much better. And I will talk to you next week. Oh, I mentioned the website and didn't say it. If you're new, it's thatmichellewolf.com. 2 L's, 2 F's. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram and Facebook are Michelle Wolf 11. And I have a Patreon page if you benefit from the podcast and want to chip in a little bit for the cost of it. That would be so much appreciated. And that is patreon.com, patreon.com /Michelle Wolf 11. Think less, feel more. Talk to you later.